Okay.
Well, that's promising. All right, you're up and
Oh,
live, and we have less than 3 second delay.
oh, sweet. All right, that's a good sign. Let's see if it works this time.
JD's and Lentilman.
Yes, hello, welcome back. Sorry about all that. I don't know what's going on with my internet today, but apparently Comcast decided today was the day they start drinking paint thinner. So, I'm hoping things have smoothed out, because it seems like my connection's fine, but if I disappear, then I apologize. At least
We
it looks
can't
like stream is
figure
going.
out to either commit to the stream or commit not to the stream. So we're just,
It's not a matter of commitment. It's a matter of does my internet want to cooperate before it just decides to die on me.
Yeah, the only commitment
I mean-
is the seppuku on the internet's part.
Yeah,
When will
honestly,
Com-
like I would rather like Comstar provide my internet than Comcast does, if I'm honest.
Mommy, when will Comcast come back with the milk?
Oh shit. Anyway, so I'm gonna get back to working on this. This is some stuff I'm doing world building wise for my setting, because if you're gonna do a sci-fi setting, you might as well have some cool looking spacesuits. So that's kind of what I've been working on here. Hold on,
Yes.
put in some background ambiance for us.
And actually, Crispy, I would advise just for the safety of the stream, you stop streaming to Discord.
Ah, okay, yeah, no, that's probably a good point, because it does look like that tanks my
And we'll just...
connection. Yeah, just want to watch through stream. Okay. It does look a little bit iffy on my end, but I'm hopefully that's just, you know, Comcast, not Comcast, just Discord being Discord. So, I mean, if I start to clop, if I start to, you know, lag out, just let me know. But otherwise, we're gonna try and continue, because the stream stops for nothing.
Brothers
But
and
yeah,
lady brothers, we are back to MS Paint.
Yes, I'm drawing spacesuits today. Well, working on spacesuit designs. More like redoing them a little bit, just because I wanted to tweak stuff on them, because I am quite the perfectionist, unfortunately. But these are different spacesuit designs I have for my setting. The one on the left here is kind of, it's like an engineering suit. I mean, think of like Dead Space and you won't be too far off. And this is actually something the main character in the story I'm working on wears. The one on the right is a mining suit that's been repurposed as pirate gear, hence all the spikes on it. Because, you know, if you're a pirate out in space, you're going to kind of want to use what you got, and that's essentially what a lot of them do. Like, if you've played Brigador and you know the Corvids, it's a lot like that.
I'm starting to think of a scenario where it's like, Captain, I know we're pirates and everything, but is it really necessary to put spikes on everything? I mean, just the other day, Rupert was walking around and he punctured his own suit with the spikes, and it happens more often than we think.
Andy, save that, because I want to use that. I love this as an idea.
Eliminate and all that, but when you're in a zero vacuum environment and your suit gets torn, you know, it's very dangerous.
The guy's gonna get shot in the face.
Repair, you know, and he gets shot in the head.
Yep.
See, lads, that's what happens when you're reasonable around me. Unreasonable Jack.
Well, slight, peek behind the curtain, but the captain and his mistress for this pirate crew are inspired by, are you aware of a band called The Cramps by chance?
I've heard the name before.
They're a 70s rockabilly punk band, and it's very much inspired by the two main members of that, Poison Ivy and Lux Interior. So, that's kind of where their inspiration came from, just to kind of peek behind the curtain of where I get my ideas from.
Okay,
It's
I
good
just
music
saw
if you
something
like
interesting.
No? Interesting in a good
Sorry,
way, or
I was
interesting in a...
I saw it. I was kind of going through the internet and I just saw a video where like a A whale with no tail is swimming off the coast of Washington State, and it's like a humpback whale, and it doesn't have the flukes at the end of its tail. It's just got like...
Also, hey,
yeah.
TK.
Hello, TK.
And hello,
That's-
Hippocampus and Silent Train, and everyone who
Yes.
stuck with us.
Yes, hello. Thank you for sticking with us. We very much appreciate it. Sorry about all that. Internet was causing me problems, but it seems to have worked itself out now. So, anyway.
Yeah. We will experience the occasional hiccup, folks. Do please bear with us, but it looks like the actual problems are gone.
Yeah, my internet seems to be operating a lot more stably than it was, which is very much a good thing. Anyway. Oh yeah, that's what I mean, it's honestly not too much of a different version. I just mostly wanted to redo the chess piece, and I figured that it just might as well just redraw it at that point. But yeah, that's essentially what I'm going for look-wise. Honestly, like I've kind of had these suit designs pretty well figured out, but and I'm sure you can attest to this, Storm. I get very much perfectionist about shit, for better or worse.
Aw, yeah.
And it makes me want to like tweak stuff, which sometimes can be good, but at a certain point you also just need to get better with saying it's good enough, which is a lot easier said than done. I can attest from multitudes of experience. But yeah, this is all stuff for the comic I'm working on, which, funnily enough, I still don't have a title for it, but it's just something that I've just been slowly chipping away at.
Brace amongst the stars.
I've thought of all sorts of different names for it. I mean, currently on my computer, the folder for it I have is called Far Stars, but I did look it up, and that's apparently a taken title, and also it's just kind of like, I don't know, it's not evocative enough, I want to say.
Silent Train warns that now that we've gone and stated it's working out loud, Comcast is going to exact retribution.
You know, the sad part is he's probably correct. If anything about this stream is to go by, Murphy's Law is this son of a bitch.
Murphy's Stellar Law.
Now there's a fun thing to write up. It's just that idea. I'm sure I'm sure half of it is just like, this happened at a Space Station 13 round, but you know.
You see like a Judge Dredd character stomp up and he goes, "I am the law, Murphy's Law."
I think there is a Judge Murphy. I could be wrong about that.
Wait a minute, Crispy.
Yeah.
RoboCop's name was Murphy.
Oh my god, you're right.
And his death and everything about it was just a horrible, sad story.
Yeah, the guys that he dealt with had the
You're not
shotgun
wrong.
surgery.
That makes us very sad.
He got better. I mean, you know. Better as
Yes.
like as relative as it can get. You guys ever
One
watch
day
like
I
the
really
reboot
need to
they
play
did?
that game.
Oh yeah, that game does look
The
quite fun.
TV series.
The movie wait, they did a TV oh right, they did a cartoon, didn't they? Which is just wild to think about.
Oh, well, yeah, they had a cartoon. They also had a TV series.
Did they?
Yeah, they added two characters like a cyborg like mutant ringleader. I forgot his name, and then they had they had RoboCop 2, which was like bigger, taller.
Well, I know what RoboCop 2 is. You're
He's
talking
basically
about
War Machine. He was
Yeah, the
basically
battle-
War Machine.
the battle mic looking thing from RoboCop 2. Or is this something else?
Yes.
No, he looked exactly like RoboCop, but he was black. Like, both armor and as a person. I mean, you know.
That's interesting.
But I think he was, like, more, like, probably OCP probably had more control on him, because, like, we want a RoboCop that we can, you know, make do what we want. But I think even he, like, you know, stops, like, you know, like, basically says, like, I don't want to do what you do. You're assholes.
I don't want your life.
The RoboCop comics are, like, messed up. Like,
I remember my mom actually
like-
got my brother and I some of those, and I remember the one was like somebody was like being an IRL Jack the Ripper with like an energy knife or something.
Like, one of his love interests literally has herself, like, cybernized. Like, her entire body she basically just becomes Lady RoboCop, but more...
Would you fuck me?
like-
I'd fuck me.
I wouldn't go that far. She's just, like...
No.
She's, like, hyper, I hate OCP.
Oh, so she just turns into like anti-RoboCop.
I wouldn't say anti-RoboCop. It's like, she is going to die, but... What she does do is she takes one of the, like, OCP members and, like, throws her into the cybernized thing, but instead of, like, cybernizing, it just tears her apart.
Oh, that's pretty metal.
Yep.
Oh, like the reboot. Honestly, I mean, and probably not controversial in saying this. It definitely missed the tone of RoboCop.
You know, I don't know. Like, I got the impression that, okay, out of everything in the movie,
We are experiencing stream difficulty.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Okay, there we are.
No.
All right. No, we're
There.
back on time now.
Okay, good. I was
All
like,
right.
not again, please.
Anyway.
No,
Yeah,
that,
no,
that
that's,
doesn't appear to be.
I mean, that's definitely them putting in like a modern commentary there without getting too into it. But yeah, it's. I get why they do
Well,
that, but it's also like.
from what I heard,
I guess
from my, like, the guys that knew that were in the military, is like, if you show up on a battlefield with a knife, I'm sorry, you're getting in an environment like that with a weapon,
Probably.
regardless of how lethal it is, you're getting bopped. So
Probably, yeah. It's just probably
And-
more heavy of a topic than we want to get into.
but I do understand, it's like, well, the robots don't have, like, human judgment, you know.
No.
But they were kind of trying to work on getting rid of that with RoboCop anyway, which defeated the purpose of what they were trying to do with the RoboCop system, or they're calling it in the new movie.
So, Crispy, I would turn down the volume of your music, not severely, but a little bit.
Is it coming in a little loud?
No, it's because sheer amount of audio content actually increases the amount of bitrate used.
Really? I did not know that.
Yep.
I was
That's-
I was kind of creeped out when they showed what was left of Murphy, like
Oh yeah, that part
BRB,
was
I'm gonna
pretty,
give
pretty intense.
what you look like without your armor, and it's just like a hand and some lungs and, you know, your head.
I mean, we never do see
I don't even
in the
think he had a
original
heart.
RoboCop how much they left of Murphy. I mean,
Yeah, they never
for
showed
all we
that.
know, it's just his face stretched over an android body.
I always assumed that it was like most of his head and probably most of his torso, because like they could take his arms and legs off at the hip. I don't know if they could take his hip off, but I always assumed that he had his major organs at least.
That's very possible. I don't know. I actually don't remember the last time I really watched RoboCop, or if I've even seen it the whole way through.
Da 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 da.
I think we watched it once, but I don't remember when that was. I mean, I
It's
know
not a
how
bad
the
movie to
movie
watch
goes.
again.
I mean, I'll definitely watch it again. RoboCop's pretty great.
RoboCop 3, I feel like, was like to sell toys because when they started attaching like the jetpack to him, I'm like, okay, I'm a kid, but come on.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if that was a motive in RoboCop 3, because I feel like they could have just been fine with RoboCop 2.
The 90s was a weird time because they would release horrible graphic like horror movies and stuff, and then they release toys for it. And I'm there as a
remember.
kid, and I'm like, hold on. Why are there toys for the Alien franchise?
They made toys for Aliens, they made toys for Jurassic Park, they made toys for the Godzilla movie they did.
Okay, the Godzilla movie was family friendly in my part, and to be honest, the Jurassic Park movie was too. Well,
but yeah, no, they did release a lot of like.
Yeah, the worst
I
part of
guess-
the Jurassic Park movie was when they found his hand.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That always
was-
did strike me weird.
Have you seen like the analog horror Jurassic Park stuff that some fans are making?
No, but I'm down for that. It's definitely probably going to be better than anything Jurassic World did.
I would love to see a remake of like Jurassic Park, but it's truer to the books and it's more horror. Like the atmosphere is very much like.
Don't they
we're
nuke the
here to,
island
like-
at the end of the book too?
I don't know. Like they're releasing a new movie, aren't? Okay, I haven't
Why?
watched Jurassic
Why are they
Park.
making another one? Why are they making another one?
What? In this one, they got like super mutants. They have like 3 super mutants. They have like extra large T-Rex, T-Rex human hybrid, and like some weird pterodactyl thing.
So I'm going to answer your question, Crispy, with a very important law. If they make a 4th movie, that's the only time that asking why would they makes any sense. Because unfortunately, the moment they've made that 4th movie, it's just going to keep going.
I mean, yeah, as long as people pay for it. I mean, look at Land Before Time series.
I know that's the obvious answer, but it just like, God, it just infuriates me that there's so many series that just feel the need to beat the dead horse to the point where it's like, well, we've run out of glue at the glue factory.
Okay,
Yeah.
so they don't
Support
nuke
don't
the island
die.
at the end of the first book. Instead, the Costa Rican Air Force napalms the island.
Oh, I mean that's not much better for everyone that's on the island, but you know.
Well, they
Someone
extract people from the island, but...
Someone told me that they were
they
like,
extract the survivors from the island. So yes, the people are on the island when they napalm it. Shit.
Yeah, that's not good.
you said you extracted the survivors off the island. We did. But there were people left on the island when you struck. Yes. So you didn't get off all the survivors. The people who we took are alive, right? Yeah. The only ones alive? Yes.
We only took the necessary
Fine.
ones.
Yep.
Everyone we rescued were the survivors.
I mean, he's not wrong.
But someone told me that they like in the books they were planning on putting like machine guns on the raptors.
Dude, they had that
Like,
same plot point
Starfire
in Jurassic World, where it's like Chris Pratt's raising those raptors, and the one guy's like, I want to weaponize the raptors, and they make him out to be the bad guy. I'm like, do you realize how stupid of an idea that is? He's like, I'm going to weaponize this animal that is essentially a killing machine. In no way is this going to go wrong. And I was like, so there's this thing called a drone.
Okay, Crispy. Well, first of all, this is before drones.
No,
But
it's
I
not.
wanna tell you
No, it
this.
is absolutely not before drones in Jurassic World.
Oh,
No,
Jurassic World.
Yeah, he's talking about the 1990s.
No, Jurassic Park, I've got
No,
no
I-
problems with that because they explain things in a reasonable way. The reason the dinosaurs get out in Jurassic Park is because we have this elaborate security system, but the dinosaurs have showed intelligence to it, and unfortunately, it goes down because it's been sabotaged, and that allows the dinosaurs to escape. That makes sense.
Yeah, it's
Jurassic
and a
World-
hurricane.
Oh, yes, the hurricane is also a big part of it. Jurassic World, on the other hand, it's like, so we have this giant killing machine of a dinosaur that we've made. Let's put it in an enclosure with a door the size of the dinosaur. Oh, and let's let the CEO of the company, who cannot fly a helicopter to save his life, fly the helicopter that's supposed to go hunt the dinosaur. Oh, and let's make sure that we don't have any sort of other security systems to deal with all the other dinosaurs should things go bad. It's just like I said it earlier. I said it earlier today, but it's like everyone in Jurassic World was huffing paint thinner when they came up with the security systems for that park.
I mean, here's the thing: the Christmas affair happened, and then there was that guy that was like that guy with the prostitute army that was like bribing people with hams.
Dr. Henry Christmas.
In the Navy.
Oh, you're talking about Fat Leonard. Well,
Oh yeah,
I suppose you could make that argument, but at that point, it's like that's just like there's that just kind of at that point that's just trying my suspension of disbelief, if I'm honest, because it's like
even in real life corrupt government scenarios, there are very few situations that get that blazingly incompetent. I know we like to joke and say, "Oh, haha, yeah, of course they do." Well, no, even people that unbelievably selfish, even the stupid, have a sense of self-preservation.
Well, that's the thing.
There are obviously exceptions, and yes, stupid things do happen. For example, see the guys that make Tarkov, but yeah,
I mean,
there does come a point in a movie where characters get too stupid.
Most modern conspiracy that I have looked into, a lot of it is due to covering up laziness. Like, people give other people too much credit for shit. Like, but, going back to Jurassic Park, or Jurassic World, it's like, like, I'm willing to be like, okay, so this genetics company has figured out a way to revive dinosaurs, and they want to make that a theme park. Alright, that makes sense. They have the security systems they've built, but they have noticed how the dinosaurs show more cleverness than people expected them to. Like, they make the whole point in Jurassic Park before stuff goes to shit about how the T-Rexes are, like, trying the electric fences to see where the weak points are. And that makes total sense. And then they show later on, like, oh, we've made these fail-safe to show that the dinosaurs can't breed, but life finds a way. And it looks like now they're doing that.
Well, that's because like, they're messing with the genetics on, like, apparently in the books, there were a lot of failed experiments walking around. Like,
oh, I would not doubt that. But my point is, like, they explain it in a way that's believable. Then you get to Jurassic World, which Jurassic World is just like, let's hit all the points that made Jurassic Park good, but they don't realize why those points were so good. It's like, how does the dinosaur get out? Because of stupid reasons, Or like, how does the park go upside down? Because of stupid reasons. And then it's just like, oh, my raptors are going to save the day. And it's like, no, your stupid pet project is not going to stop all the shit going down on this island. Like, And I am saying this, like, I saw Jurassic World in movies. And at first I was like, it was alright. But the more I think about it, the more I'm just like, no, this doesn't make sense,
So you know what? Given that it's on my mind due to having watched it recently, I will credit that with some of the notion here. But actually, Andy, the way you're describing it, like, have the guy that did Chernobyl do a Jurassic Park reboot.
That could be interesting, actually, now that you mention it.
It's slow building, subtle dread.
Okay, I just
with the moments... With the moments of abject horror.
That was the cool thing about the original Jurassic Park, is they spent, like, the first third of the movie, they spent, like, showing about this park and how they did everything. Like, they explain it very well in a way that really gets you invested in it. And you don't have that in Jurassic Park. You just get, like, oh, I'm raising these raptors for reasons. And then some guy's like, I'm going to weaponize these raptors. I'm like, you're an idiot.
Yeah, I have an idea. The guy that does not Escaflowne, he did Shin Godzilla, and he's doing the recent Gundam series. What is that?
I know
show
who you're talking about.
Evangelion, the guy that did that.
Evangelion, yeah.
I wonder what a Jurassic Park movie directed by him would be like.
There'd probably be underground clan battles for no reason, and they just redesign half of the dinosaurs so they look even more stupid. Oh, sorry, I'm talking about the Gundam series. I'm not a fan. I don't know.
I think I'm mostly thinking because of Shin Godzilla. Like, I think he did a good job with that.
I mean, I'm sure he did. I haven't seen it. I just personally, I just cannot get invested in the new Gundam series because it's just like, why?
Shin Godzilla has made it probably. I'm gonna be a little risque and say Shin Godzilla is probably one of the top 3 Godzilla movies to watch. Like,
from what I've heard, it sounds like a really good movie. I just haven't seen it.
It is, because it gives you a sense of existential dread. Like, oh my god, this thing could wipe out humanity. Like,
Also, the guy you're talking about is Hideaki Anno.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they've been making some pretty good Godzilla movies lately too. So,
now
like,
there's also
that's
something
another
to
good
be said
point
for.
about
There's
Jurassic
also
Park.
something to be.
Sorry, I'm looking at chat. It's like, yeah, that's another good point about Jurassic Park. It's like they gave the security guards they gave them Caltech shotguns to go hunt a dinosaur. Like, why would you do that?
And also in reference to the Gundam thing, it is worth bearing in mind that Gundam is now such a large franchise that unless someone understands the concept of restraint, studio interference is inevitable.
I know. It's just like I
I
probably
think
said it before on this or not this podcast, on this stream, where it's like, I just feel like the new series just, I just don't like it. I don't like how over-designed the suits are. I just think the plot is just like, it's just weird and, you know.
It might be suffering from like success of too much success syndrome or something like that, and like, or maybe I'm not using the right term, but it's like eventually, you know, when something good is for so long, eventually, and it's so old, like the people that originally did it, who are probably passionate about it, they're probably not around anymore, you know?
I mean, that's definitely, I would say, the case with some of the Gundam series that there's been, you know, but
then again, like, some of the recent Gundams have been good, such as Iron-Blooded Orphan.
That one I love. Like, and I like it. I like the designs of the mobile suits, and they're really weird, wicked looking. But that's kind of cool, and they just, like, you know, stuff makes sense to that for me. I really like Iron-Blooded Orphans, but the new series, which I don't even want to try and pronounce the name because it's just like, why did you name it? Like, why did you name it this? The QVX or whatever the hell you say it. It's just like
GQX. I mean, you might as well just call it GQX.
GQX. Sure, I'll call it that because it's just like I can actually say it in a sentence, but they're doing an alternate history thing, which is fine. I don't mind if they do that, but it's just like, well, we've redesigned all the mobile suits so they look way more over-designed than they should be. And for some reason, even though there's this alternate plot where it's like, what if Xeon won, which is like, that would be an insane thing to explore, but it's like, no, we're just gonna focus on this girl and her friends doing like gang war with mobile suits for some reason.
Quick pause. Hey there, storytelling tree. We are being rated.
Oh, hello.
Oh god.
Welcome to WEPL 76, legally defined as entertainment.
Legally.
Speaking of rated,
I'm gonna talk about Raid Shadow Legends. I'm gonna reach this screen.
Oh no, I was somebody. I'm not gonna say who, but somebody was telling us about their like story and like how on the planet that they have basically a continent of scrap that people like fight over in like vehicles, almost Mad Max style. Mm-hmm. And I would like to play a tabletop game of that. You know, you get your scooters going around like shooting at each other around like. Yeah.
Yay.
I keep saying it. The Mad Max game from like 2016 or whatever, I wish somebody would make a mod that just replaces all the characters in the game with space orcs. That's all you got to do. You don't even have to do like voice acting because they already sound like orcs.
Didn't they make like an orcs game though?
I mean, they have Speed Freaks in the game, but I love the idea of like There is Banjo-Kazooie like nuts and bolts. I want like an orc version of that, or an orc version of Scrap Engineers.
I don't
You're
know if I played
slapping
that
metal
one.
together to make a car and then rolling around and shooting each other, and then you blow up and you do it again.
I mean, that does sound pretty fun as a game. It's just like, I'd rather just have that without the 40k parts of it, personally.
Well, you gotta remember, it's orcs, it's space orcs, you know. You
I know,
you don't
it's
have
just-
to take them too.
I'm
You know?
probably going to upset some people in chat. I think the orcs are annoying.
Oh, you just don't like a good fight.
Well, and part of it, honestly, just more like the fandom and how they treat the orcs, where it's just people. It gives people an excuse to be loud and yell, and it's like, I don't want to sound like an old man, but I hate when people just like yell and scream about shit. I don't care what it is.
Well, good news, Crispy. You sound like an old woman.
I mean, the whole
What?
point of the orcs, one of the things about the orcs though is that they scream "wah."
Yeah, I know. I don't like that because people tend to do that a lot. It's just like, this is getting on my nerves. I'm sorry I sound that way, but it's just like, it's just how I feel. I'm
I mean, if they do it, if there's
to put it
somebody in the
bluntly,
store
I'm autistic and I don't
doing
like
it-
loud noises.
That's
Oh
fair.
yeah, that is a good point. Like,
I have a noise sensitivity. I'm not being hyperbolic when I say that. It's just like I know myself, and I know that when I hear like loud and people yelling, I'm not a fan of that. You know.
Storm Song.
Yes, Andy.
Crispy is part of the Space Orc tribe, where instead of screaming "wah," they all just raise their hands in the air and start shaking their head.
So I'm part of the Space Orc tribe that does mushrooms. Okay.
The jazz hands. They all do mushrooms.
They are
They
mushrooms.
are mushrooms.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But they also eat mush. Like
Also,
I mean,
they
that-
are
that
their
I-
own.
That I think is the interesting part, is like that nobody talks about, is the two things about the orcs is like, for one, they are like living fungus, and for two, they have psychic powers to the point where if you give an orc a piece of metal and tell him it's a gun, it will fire bullets.
I mean, it has to work to some degree. I don't know. I
At
think
least
you have
in
to
the
have
old
enough.
lore, I think. From what I understand about the old lore, that was the case, where you could just hand like an orc a piece of pipe and tell him if he yells "bang," it's gonna shoot bullets.
I think it depends. Like, I think the thing about 40k is like, it's almost like their lore is interchangeable, and they play it off as, well, it's the story is so great and so grand, and the universe is so great and grand that like you get conflicting stories because of hearsay and the telephone effect.
I mean, that's one thing, but the whole like grand universe thing, I can see how that's kind of annoying, because it's like Skeleton King. And I mean, I'll admit, I'm sure people that have talked to like know me probably know that I tend to criticize 40k quite a lot, and I don't completely hate 40k. I do not completely hate 40k. There's stuff in 40k that I think is interesting. Like, I like the whole thing about Gaunt's Ghost and the Tannis Thurston Only. I love the Foundation. That's such a good book, you know.
Pause.
And I'm sure
Only
there's
because,
plenty of other
only
people.
because of pause. Only because of chat request. Stop everything, gentlemen. I reinvented maths during a drunk texting session. All right, now that I've announced that, continue.
I don't want to think about math.
What was
Math.
that
I
one?
hate math.
Also, Crispy, I just want you to know that you are the exact opposite of AI. You are genuine stupidity.
Oh, I'm fine with that. I'd
Yeah,
much rather be
you're-
genuinely stupid than an artificial simulacrum. Because that's genuine.
Yeah, your misaligned thumb fingers are nice looking.
I will punch you with misaligned fingers.
UNC Samurai Space Orcs are cannibals, and they don't care. But the thing about the Space Orcs is their whole ecology. They're a lot closer to the Tyranids than you think, because they're all like the same. Like goblins, the grots, like all the life forms. They're like, it's like the mushrooms grow and decide like, okay, what am I like? I think they start out as goblins, and then the goblins like cultivate bigger mushrooms and become the orcs and the other creatures, and you know.
I mean, I don't think there's like an orc Jeffrey Dahmer running around, is there?
I'm pretty sure every single Pain Boy is a Jeffrey Dahmer orc.
So they've got like an interesting selection of things in their fridge, is what I'm understanding.
I'm pretty sure every Pain Boy has a bottle of bleach in there, like,
And a drill.
here's the problem. You got a dirty mind. And just starts pouring bleach on the orc brain, and you know what? It probably works for him.
I feel like that would probably work for Orc, if we're honest, considering that their whole society just seems like an acid trip.
Oh boy.
At least that's my understanding.
Like,
Now to
they don't like
No,
now to
no math, no.
Sorry, now to explain God Waffle's math.
I'll be right back.
If 20 minus 20 equals 25 minus 25, so 5 times 4 minus 5 times 4 equals 5 times 5 minus 5 times 5, and 4 times 5 minus 5, parentheses, equals 5, parentheses, 5 minus 5. That means 4 equals 5, and so 2 plus 2 equals 5? God Waffle. Go home, you're drunk. Did you get all that, Andy?
I'm having a whacker moment.
Like, angrily yelling at people while shitting yourself?
Like, being disappointed.
Lol.
I've reinvented math. Oh, that's nice. Stand on that red square. Oh, this one right here. Why did it pull the lever? Ah!
Lol.
Alright, I'm back.
Yes.
What did I...
Hello back, I'm Stormsong.
I missed some forbidden math, okay.
If 20 minus 20 equals 25 minus 25, so... No, I'm done.
Oh, God. Math was not my best subject in school. I know, that's surprising considering that I'm an artist, but, you know.
Well, you're more of a worldly kind of intelligent.
I'm more right brain, that's definitely for sure.
I think my cat's mad at me.
Why do you say that? Is it sharpening a knife?
She's stomping on the keyboard again. Like it's like she's going out of her way to do it too, and I'm like, stop.
No, don't post that to Twitter, please. Just kidding. Twitter's up the devil.
Let's see what my cat's typing right now. Let's see. Jeffrey Dahmer did nothing wrong. I got it.
Bad kitty.
Okay, so I need a good word for a spaceship artillery piece, other than just artillery piece.
Light. Oh, well, maybe not light howitzer. Plasma howitzer?
Oh, you know what? Howitzer works.
Yeah. I was gonna say,
Well, this isn't that. These are kinetic weapons. I'm working on
Cosmic
kinetic
Battery.
weapons, right?
Somebody already has
oh, thank
that.
you for the subscription. Fan art.
Fan art, fantastic.
Appreciate it.
Yelling, pull the lever, Kronk.
I had to read that first.
You know, I'm kind of sad actually. I thought we were going to build a kaiju, but with a robot today.
I did want to do that. We just, I feel like we can do that next week. I just kind of wanted to.
Yeah.
Basically, like the reason I'm doing this is because this is something I was working on that I kind of want to continue, and also I kind of wanted to ease back into things, considering that I felt pretty burnt out last week. Like this past week, I haven't really been drawing much. I mean, this is kind of like the most I've been working on this week. I've just been kind of taking it easy, doing some painting. I've been painting some BattleTech minis, which has been fun.
Hold on a minute. Hold on. I'm channeling Whacker. Oh, Crispy.
Don't do that.
This whole week you've been drawing my ire. Oh.
When am I not drawing his ire?
Fucking God.
What? Do you not know what that means?
No, we all understood it.
I'm always drawing whackers iron. I was gonna say I don't think that's a new statement.
Spara.
Since we're
Spara.
talking about internet stuff, I've got a
Spara.
storm going on outside, and I might like disappear.
Oh, okay, no, that's fine. Today seems to be
I'm
the day
outside
where...
your house.
Why are you outside his house cutting
Explains the
his...
smell.
I am cutting his cucumbers myself.
Those aren't cucumbers. Those are alligators.
Oh my.
Those are baby alligators. The mama's not happy.
Apparently alligators I think it's crocodiles the aggressive ones.
They're both aggressive. It's just alligators exist in Florida, and Florida is where the people were like, "I'm gonna pet it and name it Ted."
Yeah, well, I do know
And you
that
know what?
apparently after that alligator ate the kid at Disney World, they called the fuck out of those gators.
Yeah, it turns out they're still dangerous animals.
Yeah, who would have thought? I know. Problem is, it's just it's Florida, so they're just gonna get everywhere because it's an alligator and it's Florida.
Or
After
after being mean, he's reminding me that MTV is
alligator at Walt Disney.
Yeah,
Walt
yeah,
Disney
yeah.
World decided
How old
to
is
remove all
Spar? How old is
the
Kurt Cobain right now?
eternal.
If we're talking about how old Kurt's are. Also, I'm too young to know who Kurt Loder is, so I'm immune.
He did the MTV news stuff.
I actually do know who he is. I'm just saying I didn't. Personally, I don't know. I didn't really watch MTV. When I was. Let's see. What year was '94? When I was 2.
1 second, I'm getting a phone call.
My MTV.
There's lyrics to that song we can't say on Twitch. At least the original
Look at
version.
them, yep. That's the
Yeah,
way
no,
to do
they
it.
don't they don't say yo-yos and then
I think it's yokels.
no, they say something much more.
Oh, I know what
complicated
you're talking about, Crispy, but I'm talking about the replacement word.
Oh, okay, no, that makes more sense.
Back in the 80s, people who were very hardcore, I'm going to work at the company and I'm carrying my briefcase and my shoe-sized cell phone. They were called yokels, I think.
I mean, yokel just means
or something. I might be getting it wrong, but what was it called? There was a particular name for basically
yuppie.
Yuppie. Yeah, yuppie.
It makes
Yeah,
yuppie.
because yokel is like bumpkin or something.
Yeah,
like
yokel's
that.
just like a townie.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so I'm wrong. Anyway, I still like the song.
Oh no, it's a good song. It's just some people
And it
might
was a
have
mind
problems.
trip scene. That was one of the,
But then again,
the
it's
first
I mean, to be fair,
it's the
one of
first
my
intrication of 3D.
it is pretty interesting, that whole video, yeah. But also it's what good songs don't have questionable lyrics? I mean, one of my favorite songs is Holiday in Cambodia by the Dead Kennedys. Go look up the lyrics for that.
Cookie Mama says yokels are farmers, sort of a rural dumbass.
Yeah, that's kind
God
of what
Waffle thanks whoever just gave them the gift sub, and who we believe to probably be Mo. And God Waffle wonders why he now has underpants.
I mean,
Oh,
there's
I can't answer
those
that.
ones. Let's see, what's the name of the song? There's a lady who's sure all that glitters is gold, and she's mine. Oh yeah,
You mean Stairway to Heaven?
Yeah, there's that line that's it's got the gringle of the stim stam and on the billboard. He's got the
didn't know that's
star of the big queen.
I didn't know that's
It's
how that
what?
went.
That's not exactly how it works, but it is a bunch of gibberish.
I mean, that's just, it's not it's not any different from a Red Hot Chili Peppers song.
Yeah, but at least they've got morning underwear on.
I suppose. Also, sorry, I'm trying to change my music real quick, and unfortunately, most of what I want to put on here is not royalty-free, which is unfortunate.
No one's free from the royals. Andrew!
I'll be right back.
Fuck it. I'll just put this Miami Vice track on. See, I know I've said this before plenty on streams, but it's like, I really wish I could play a lot of the music I listen to on streams.
You know, Crispy, what would be ironically royalty-free music on your stream?
What?
AI-generated music.
I'm not doing that.
It's like I have what's the word I'm looking for?
Like, I'm just gonna say this much, and I don't want to sound pretentious when I say this. But I was talking with a buddy of mine last week, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I like AR because it means I don't have to spend years learning how to do a skill." And I'm like, "That's half the fucking point."
What if just you know his job and then just showed like robots doing it?
I mean, his job's already done by robots, considering that he refinishes furniture.
But
yeah, it's. You know what? I'm not gonna get into it because I feel like I gripe about AI stuff too much. But I mean, if you know me, you know my stance on it. I have plenty of problems with it, but I also just don't. I don't want to be the guy that complains all the time. I know there's plenty of stuff that I gripe about, but it's just like I don't like being the curmudgeon in the room, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Slowly turns to the camera, smiles wirely, the audience laughs.
No, it's true. I don't like being the grump ass. I really don't. There's stuff I'm passionate about, and then I see it being handled in ways that just frustrate me and just upset me, you know? You know, imagine like you spend a good chunk of your life trying to learn a skill, and then you just see something that just shits all over all your hard work. It's kind of that's definitely a part of it.
You know what upsets me?
What?
These prices!
I knew you were gonna fucking
That's right,
say that.
ladies and gentlemen. Coming on down is Andy in his fancy red dress to tell us what we're about to spend.
I'm gonna dump a puck and a pig's blood on you like it's Carrie.
1847 for this collection of What Am I Bitching About Today by all the best artists in the BPL.
Andy, I'm going to mail you horrible things.
Oh, please, I'm so lonely. By the way, would you wear this lotion when you do it?
Spara, that's good, but also fuck you. I don't know if you guys saw what he just said in chat.
I'm angry.
I know, right?
I was saying the other day.
Spara's telling me all the dad jokes I never got.
If Spara is the Boris Karloff of the BPL, I want to be the Mel Blanc of the BPL.
You saying you're not? Also, I've said before, Spara is like Deckard Cain, but with cigars and more swearing.
Well, Boris Karloff was like I think he was the one that was known for like a man with 1,000 faces.
Yeah.
Probably. I forget exactly who Boris Karloff is.
You are the.
It's very old school.
Boris Karloff
feel like
was
I would
kind
know
of the
who
horror.
he is.
He's the horror actor of all horror actors.
Yeah, he did like the
Price.
Phantom of the Opera and the original Dracula and all that, you know.
I mean, him and Vincent Price were kind of two of a kind.
I was gonna say Vincent Price is more my wheelhouse, as you can imagine, because it's Vincent Price, and
They were
he's
sort
a
of
fun dude.
to each other the way like Vin Diesel and Jason Statham are to each other.
Oh my god, what a comparison!
Matter of fact, Aura had that video that was of Vincent Price and Boris Karloff like singing a "Oh What a Pair We Are" at a Red Skelton show.
Oh, that's fun.
Red Skelton was a comedian, you see.
Oh, I thought it was
I
like
say was because he's dead.
no, just saying it so.
I will not go. Turn the lights
How did he die? How did he die? Like
Carry me home.
skydiving accident or?
You know, being a comedian and in Hollywood, I'm pretty sure substance abuse was involved.
Wait,
No, that doesn't
which
sound
person are we on
awesome.
again?
Yes. I was gonna say death by some.
Andy, which person are we on?
Red Skeleton.
Red Skeleton. That's right.
Actually, he was in that day where like they died of natural causes.
He died of natural causes. Parentheses, too much coke. Well, natural causes back then was like, I've had too many bennies.
Well, he also died at 84.
Damn, he died young.
No,
At 84, like he was 84 years old.
So, did he die in like a skydiving accident, or?
Possibly. Let's see.
He probably was one of the few that died of natural causes.
At 84, I fucking hope so. I hope it wasn't like he was fighting a grizzly bear in his backyard or something.
Pneumonia.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Common way to go for someone that age.
It's
I mean,
it happens at younger ages than you think.
Yeah. But
in my sci-fi setting, like I remember in my sci-fi setting, like almost all diseases were cured, but the common cold they found was just uncurable.
See, that's kind of fun, but the common cold won't kill you necessarily. You have to be in pretty rough shape for that.
Yeah, UNC has a point. Prolific amount of smoking back then, so 80s would have been a miracle.
Okay, look.
It's those asbestos filters, man. They really kept out all the toxins.
It's like that old man you watch that's like, he looks pretty healthy and he's like 80-something years old and he's still walking around and he's eating nothing but canned goods.
Don't judge my lifestyle,
I guess that's why he's lived so long. He's full of preservatives.
Yeah, so just start cramming Doritos in your mouth now. All those preservatives will make you live forever. Trust me, I'm totally a doctor.
It reminds me of that, like, these guys were interviewing this old lady that was, like, in her 80s, and she smoked, drank whiskey, and just ate bacon every day. And they're like, what's your secret to a long life? And she was like, you go fuck yourself.
Oh, so spite.
Some people do live off spite.
Spite is a great motivator.
Like, I don't want her around here.
Spite is a very good motivator. I've said it before. Not to say it's the only motivator you want, obviously. You want to enjoy stuff. But sometimes where someone tells you you can't do something and you're just like, fuck you, won't do what you tell me.
That reminds me, there's like an old video where they're at like a get-together of the elderly and most of them fought in the Civil War.
I've seen that video.
Yeah, yes. They're talking to each other. Oh, well, back in the day, and...
That's such a crazy thing, because that was like, what, the 20s, I think?
Yeah, and the funny thing is they're acting like some old people would today. Like, this old man is teasing his wife. He's like, oh, well, my wife, and he's like nibbles on her or something. She's like, oh, stop it, Henry.
It's almost like that's human behavior.
I was going to say, it just goes to show, humans have not changed over the millennia too much. Which is both, kind of depressing, but also, kind of inspiring, where it's just like, yeah, we have got all of our bullshit problems that continue to follow us, but at the same time, things tend to work out okay one way or another.
We don't use leadware as...
Well, I mean, there's that, although there's some schools that definitely could use some lead taken out of them. But, yeah, it's, I don't know, it's... Honestly, that's just getting into, like, big brain philosophical conversations if we're going to get into that kind of stuff. But it's like, I do like the idea where it just goes to show it's like, well, we've still got all of our problems. We're still the same people at the end of the day. And it's just like, it just shows it's like, we just have the capacity to work through shit, for lack of a better way of putting it.
UNC Samurais, you're talking about the 1938 Gettysburg 75th reunion.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was also a video of an old man that was farming, and it's like, they keep asking me, how can you work so hard so much? And I said, well, for me, it's not work, it's play. And he's like shoveling some dirt.
See, considering it's a farmer in Gettysburg, I thought you were going to be like, they keep asking me if I keep digging up bodies.
I don't think he was at Gettysburg. I think it was just another,
I was going to say...
video from, like, the 40s or the 20s or something.
Yeah, I thought you were still talking about, like, the Gettysburg reunion. Because, fun little fact about Gettysburg, there's still, like, over 1,000 unaccounted for bodies buried in Gettysburg because, and this is something fun I learned when I was there a while ago. My wife and I went there for our anniversary, and we did a ghost tour. And the lady that did the ghost tour told us that after the battle, apparently someone from the town went to Washington and asked for help burying all the dead, because there was quite a lot of dead at Gettysburg, surprisingly. And they said, we will pay the people of Gettysburg to bury all the bodies. So the people of Gettysburg did that, but when they went to go tell the government about it, the government was like, oh, I don't know what you mean. So they decided in retaliation to destroy all the records that showed where all the bodies were. So there's a good number of unaccounted for somewhere in Gettysburg. And one of the stories we heard about that was, because this was a ghost tour, there was the story that our tour guide told us about how when they were building the high school, people were experiencing all this weird sort of paranormal activity. And long story short of it, when they dug up the football field that they were putting in, they found the grave site of a bunch of Confederates from this one unit. And then after that, the experiences stopped with people. So, I'm not saying I believe in ghosts or anything, but it is interesting. Just the kind of stuff people witness in places like that.
Okay, so we have a tradition on this stream. Andy, I'll leave it to you if you want it, or I can do it. One of us now has to act like Whacker and get all curmudgeonly about this.
Oh, God, no.
You're talking about something I can't see visually, so I don't believe in it.
You know what? I want to dose Whacker with it. No, don't actually. I'm not actually going to say that.
Which is funny.
Oh, you want to see something you can't experience in person, do you? Have
Which
some
is
of
funny
this
for the
tea.
amount of hot air that he uses.
Well, you know, Whacker is someone that objectively hates fun, so it makes sense that
We
he'd be
love
like
you,
in
Whacker.
Conversations like these. We do love you, Whacker. We
Yeah.
just think that you need to have more of an open mind for shit, because the universe
I
is
was
bigger
saying
than you realize.
if we do a spooktacular this year, like the one game that me and Stormsong are going to like cackle over while Whacker plays, I would vote for Soma.
I want to be there for that. If I can. If it my
You said you
schedule
don't like
lines up with
horror,
that.
so we're making you play Existential Dread.
Super Chief's in chat, nodding at us. Hippocampus as well.
Super Chief. Super Chief. He's Super Chief. He's Super Chiefy.
Yeah.
You know, with Super Chief... Oh, whoa, what? Okay. One day I kind of want to just go to a crab boil with him. Actually, I'd love a BPL, crab boil, or just,
I mean, that would be pretty sweet.
Sparus tells us a tale. A young man met a cowboy who was 104, still active and in good health. He asked the old-timer what the secret to his longevity was, and the old man said, "You gotta sprinkle just a little gunpowder on your porch every morning. See, you do that, you'll have live to a nice, ripe old age." So the young man did this religiously, every day for the rest of his life, and sure enough, lived to the age of 100. When he died, he left behind 6 children, 10 children, 56 grandchildren, and a 16-foot hole in the wall of the crematorium.
56 grandchildren. Golly. Can you imagine that? Like having a day where 56 kids are like, "Happy birthday, Grandpa!"
That'd be
What it
pretty
is
wild.
to be an Italian family anytime before the 21st century.
I would be very concerned about that, considering that I don't want to have kids.
I mean, think about me. It's going to be hard finding a woman that wants to have 12 kids.
I would say that's not even
Andy.
just a you thing. I'd just say that's an in general thing, because, like, at a certain
Andy.
point, do they just walk out?
Yes, Whacker. Storm.
It's going to be hard to find any that want one kid. No!
That's what I'm
Sorry.
saying. That's what I'm saying, Storm.
I love
like, they're
you.
not going to stand over a spittoon and just, like, hawk one out.
You just
You
want
will
me
find-
barefoot? You just want me barefoot? Yeah, I am.
Hello, Mr.
I'll take-
Tarantino.
I'll take kinks that I didn't want to hear Andy had today for 500, Alex.
And when
The author's
she drops the subject and she gets hysterical, all you gotta do is reasonably talk to her and sit her down and just explain your circumstance to her. That's what you gotta do.
she gets hysterical, remove part of her uterus.
Well, no.
That's
okay,
old
we're moving on
medicine.
to another. We're moving on to another subject.
I just thought people
it.
wanted to hear about old-timey medicine. Hold on, let me get my humor bag.
Are you gonna get one of the 4 humors bags?
Yeah, Earth, Wind, and Fire.
No, it was like pus, bile, blood, and
No, so it's black bile, yellow bile, phlegm, and blood.
That's one fucked up Captain Planet you're gonna summon.
Upsetting.
Captain Nurgle.
You just summon Albert Fish. If you don't know who that is, don't Google it. If you do want to know who it is, well, I'm not sorry.
You heard it.
I just have too much true crime knowledge rattling around in my brain sometimes.
Yep.
It's like, did you know that medical students used to get in fights over like which cadaver they'd grave rob?
Oh yeah, yeah.
I don't know why true crime. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was not complimenting. Joining to what Crispy said, like early medical student shit is funky.
Yeah, that's one way to put it.
Anyways,
I don't
you were
know
saying,
why true crime often blends over into like the paranormal and cryptid podcast so much. It's weird. Or
it's very
stuff,
macabre.
but I guess
part of it's the macabre, part of it's the fear factor.
Yeah.
that might
Part of
be
it
true,
also
but
is because at least I know one instance where a serial killer's house became haunted.
I mean, there's a lot of hauntings where, you know, she took an axe to her mother and father's head. That's a real story, by the way.
I know who Lizzie Borden is. Also, that's debatable of whether she did it or not. But, I mean, I think there's something to that, because like I was saying earlier with Gettysburg, it's like, I mean, this is just my own opinion. I just think there is an interesting correlation between hauntings happening at places where there's been significant amounts of psychological trauma.
Psychological and emotional distress can dye the dimensional area fabric of the area, causing
Burger
it to
King
become
foot
what we would
lettuce.
consider haunted.
Burger King foot lettuce has haunted us for quite some time.
One of my favorite haunting podcast stories was this guy. He's one of those renovators. He buys a house, and like at one of the bottom floors, there's a pentagram scratched into the floor after he pulls a rug up. Found out that like one of the previous owners goes missing for 2 weeks, and when they find her, she's like, she scratched the pentagram, has candles around, is like talking in tongues. Anyway, he says he noticed things happening around more and more frequency, and he's coming down the stairs one day, and all the drawers and cabinets start like flipping out on him. And he looks at him and he says, "If you don't stop that, I'm going to burn this whole place to the ground." And, you know, he didn't have any trouble after that.
It does remind me of this one video game, but also, I'm just thinking about Skinwalker Ranch. If you want a fun, interesting story, that's one.
Crispy.
What?
Cryptid salad dressing. One of the flavors. Skinwalker Ranch.
Oh my god!
Chupacabra Catalina.
Spara lets us know that Maydell Hawkins holds the record for most great-grandchildren, with over 230.
Dear God!
106 grandchildren.
I feel like your genitals would just fall off after number 10.
Well, no, these are like...
Well, great-grandchildren. Bear in mind your...
Okay. I was gonna say, if it's like 110, like, children, period, I'm like, good God, man.
So let's put this in context. Like, 2 parents, in theory, should have, like, 2 children, right? And those 2 children should each have 2 children, so that you have 4 grandchildren, so you have 8 great-grandchildren. So...
She would have, like,
she had to have she had to have children who themselves had each 30 grandchildren.
I'm just thinking of that one scene from Empire Strikes Back where Han Solo's like, "This isn't a cave."
Oh, Crispy!
Hey, I never said what I was thinking about. I don't know what you're thinking about.
You know, back then, Kirsty, we had these things like typhoid and stuff that, you know, would kill people.
Oh yeah, that's the fun thing I learned about Typhoid Mary is essentially like she spread her disease because she didn't wash her hands good.
Yep.
And then she decided to make ice cream with poo-covered hands.
Oh.
Typhoid does not sound like a fun time. I know that's pretty controversial. Yeah.
Typhoid sounds like the name of a Nurgle space marine and Q-Chat.
I'm sure it. I wonder where they got the idea.
Well, wait, isn't there a space marine named Typhon that's a Nurglite?
Yeah,
That's
like
the
Typhus
joke.
or something.
Okay, yeah.
What's your plague marine space name? Tuberculosis.
Andy, don't make me start busting out on 40k again, please.
Yes, I can only enjoy a stream so much.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, do we want to talk about all the things 40k ripped off? Because we can do that.
Yes, let's be original today.
No, it's not a matter of being original. It's just I'm tired of hearing people compare shit to everything being in 40k, and I'm just like, no.
Yeah, I kind of get it. Like,
I don't care if people
Yeah.
enjoy 40k, but just like stop trying to like. I remember seeing a post the one time somewhere where someone was like, "Wouldn't it be cool if the Brotherhood of Steel was a Space Marine chapter?" I'm like, you do realize that there's several things wrong about what you just said.
Well,
I didn't actually reply to this person, mind you. But
I would
was just
argue
like,
that there probably is a Space Marine chapter that is basically like, you know, we go find old technology and hide it.
yeah, it's called the Iron Hands.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
they're like they're mostly like the flesh is weak. Apparently, their Primarch, if he if he was around right now, he'd be like, "Oh God, what have I done?"
most of the Primarchs would.
I think Vulcan would be happy with his guys, and I think Robert Gilliman is all right.
Oh, Rowboat Girly Man would be happy with his Mary Sue boys. Okay.
Here's the thing. The only thing about Ultramarine, the only thing that messed up the Ultramarine was after the Andy Chambers series. I can't remember his name, but there's a guy that basically just overhyped the Ultramarine.
That would be Matt Ward.
Yeah. Like, I was an Ultramarines player, so I kind of have a bit of animosity towards the hatred for not only Ultramarines, but for Robert Gilliman. I mean, there's a lot of chapters when they land on a planet, they just destroy everything wanton. The Ultramarines, you know, they at least try to preserve shit, and they try to rebuild. You know, they're not just mindless warriors. Like, they actually try to fix shit. So, you know, remember that, please.
I think for me, one of the weird things is, and this was even when I actually did care for 40k, I used to be a way bigger fan. And one of the things that I noticed even from the beginning is the Ultramarine hate was already fully into swing at that point. And the counter thing was like, well, like, people who are really in the know, you know, are into, like, more unique and interesting chapters, like the Blood Angels. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. What are these Blood Angels everyone's talked about? Realize that, like, I could walk into any 40k event and the favorite chapter was the Blood Angels. And it's like, so literally what you were just complaining about with the Ultramarines.
Yeah. I mean,
like, the people who, like, think that Batman's more interesting than Superman, so they make Batman out to be invincible because Superman's boring for being invincible.
yeah.
You get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, I mean, I like Batman more than Superman, but I will definitely say there's been points where they just like get like ridiculous with what he can do.
Yeah, me too.
I mean,
like I far prefer Batman to Superman, but at the same time, it's like you're really shooting your own argument.
I mean, if we're gonna talk about a faction that's definitely like OP Mary Sue, it's not in 40k. It's in BattleTech, and it's Clan Wolf.
Yeah, from what I've read, well, I've only read
them and the Wolf
but...
Dragoons have absurd plot armor, from what I understand.
You know, the thing is how... It's like, in a D&D session, you forget that you don't have plot armor unless the DM, like, wants you to live. Because, you know, there have been so many D&D games where I just die all the time.
For me, that's Delta Green, but I get what you're saying. I mean...
It could be argued, like, oh, I got a bad DM. And it's like, well, you know, it's just, you know... If there's no threat of you dying, then, you know, some people would argue, what's the fun? And it's...
I mean,
but there's also, like...
That's the thing. It's like... Like, I understand having a favorite faction and wanting them to be, like, the good guys all the time, you know? But at a certain point, it just becomes absurd to the point where it just doesn't feel genuine. You know?
Well, the Ultramarines aren't always the good guys. Sometimes there are asshole Ultramarines that are like...
That's what I was about to say, actually. Is like, from what I understand about, you know, older lore when it comes to the Ultramarines, they were people that were very by the book, and they tried to do the right thing, but their by the book nature caused problems for them just as much as it solved them. And they were just, you know, trying to be reasonable in a very unreasonable time.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm wrong in that.
Well,
I'm just talking, you know, based on the scraps of 40k lore that I do know. But
yeah. I mean,
you know,
here's the thing with the Salamanders. Like, you love the Salamanders because they're one of the few, like, inspiring, hopeful characters in the dark, grim future. But a Salamander will use a flamethrower on an elf child in an instant. Like, you know.
Yeah.
They have their moments of like, oh yeah, this is Grimtar. Oh god.
Yeah. From what I understand, the Crimson Fists are a fun chapter, but I digress.
Oh yeah,
like,
they're very honorable.
Yeah, but like Clan Wolf, and like honestly, like I watched one of Big Red's videos that really like spelled this out for me, and I was like, oh wow, when he said it like that, it's like so much stuff happens in the lore of BattleTech to just like conveniently set them up as like the ones on top. And it's just kind of like, what are we doing here? I mean, look at it now. It's like it's like they have a psychopath that's leader of the clan. And it's like, no, we have conquered Earth and we have made the Second Star League, and now we will bring the glory back to humanity. And it's just like, I'm sorry, but no. Like, God, I really wish they'd never killed off Comstar. Comstar is such a fun faction. They're my personal favorite in BattleTech. Like, if I had to pick a house, it'd probably be Steiner, but if I'm picking, like, any faction in BattleTech, it's definitely Comstar, because Comstar is by far the most interesting faction.
I find myself... You know, there's always that worry of you're like, I'm making this thing, and, you know, 9 times out of 10, it's not going to actually ever get famous.
Yes, I know that very well.
Yeah, but if it somehow did, you know, like, am I at peace with how the fandom would receive X, Y, or Z? And there's a part of me that's always slightly terrified at the possibility that the bad guys that I'm designing for the setting, like the objectively evil faction, will somehow be appealing to someone. It's like, I want it to be very clear these are not good characters.
I think that... I mean, my slight counterpoint to that is that you can appreciate a faction for like their cool stuff in it, but still think they're a bad faction. Like, the Empire of Star Wars is absolutely a bad faction, but I'm not gonna pretend I don't love the aesthetic of the Empire. I don't love Star Destroyers. I don't love all that shit, you know. And I've definitely played the Empire, preferably in many different Star Wars games. But I'm not gonna be like the Empire did nothing wrong unless it's like a meme joke. And I think that's really the big difference there, where it's like, you know, some people actually like it because they're the bad guy, and it's just like, these guys are absolutely evil and they do horrible shit, but it makes the plot interesting. You know, I totally get that.
Yeah, and
it's different if it's like, I mean, this is more of like an extreme example, but I think about like certain black metal musicians who took things from Lord of the Rings way too seriously and combined them with some really controversial beliefs in their own head, and then use that excuse for their shitty behavior and doing things like murdering fellow musicians. Varg Vikernes.
Yes.
But yeah, I get what you're saying though. Like I totally understand that, where it's like, you know, if you make
that's
something,
what I'm.
yeah, you don't
That's
want
what I'm
people to
talking-
misconstrue
it's
what you're
like-
trying to say.
It's like, if I was the author of Batman, let's just go back to Batman for a moment, I would be very proud of, you know, insert the many authors for Batman, actually, of, you know, how the thing I created is so successful. I would also be subtly horrified, not subtly, I'd be extremely horrified by, you know, like, the shooting that happened by the guy who basically thought he was the Joker.
Yeah.
Like,
And I
it's
get that.
yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and that's one of those things that would just horrify me if that happened.
But I think that also too, it's like I totally get, I you know, I'm not gonna, you know, just dismiss that feeling, because obviously that's like, you never want something you make to be something that inspires horrible violence. I mean,
Yeah.
look at, I'm sure J.D. Salinger certainly did not want Catcher in the Rye to be remembered as the book that inspired the guy that shot Lennon, you know.
And yet that is what people will remember it as, unfortunately.
Yeah, you know.
I don't think the guy that created the Noid from Pizza Hut had any intention or even forethought that somebody would go on a killing spree
Oh,
because he
100%.
thought
What?
commercials was talking to him.
What? When? What? and
Explain
what,
that.
And what? Oh, you don't know that story, Storm. Also, we
Okay,
are getting
well,
close to the end of stream here. Just a slight heads up. I don't know if we want to continue a little bit over time. I know you guys were streaming with Cookie earlier. I don't know if that was what that was about.
I believe
but-
Whirlin is going to be taking her place since it was basically a switcheroo.
Okay.
Crispy, do you want to tell the Noid story?
Okay. The short answer is the Noid was that, you know who the Noid is, like the Domino's mascot.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There was a guy whose last name was Noid that thought that they were talking directly about him, and so he held up a Domino's and held the employees hostage for a certain amount of time. And that whole incident is largely the reason why the Noid got pulled from Domino's advertising.
Also, hi, Ether.
Which,
Huh.
I've
you
seen
know,
it come
okay.
back a bit.
yeah,
I've seen a
but-
commercial with him in it.
Oh no, they brought it back, but that's like, there's a reason it went away for a long while. But I mean, I
Yeah.
get what you're saying, where it's like, but it's also like, you know, at a certain point, you have to separate art from the artist, and you have to separate, like, yes, I've created this thing, but people are going to take it in ways that I didn't intend. And the important thing is that I make sure to acknowledge that that's not what my intention was, which is obviously that only works as long as you're alive. But, and it's an unfortunate thing, which I really don't have any answers for, because there's absolutely been people's work that has been ruined by the legacy that idiots taint it with. But yeah, it's a tough thing, but you know, the best you can do is try to clarify, I guess, in that situation. I don't know. It's a difficult thing.
Oh yeah. And it was more of a. It's one of those fears that even if like all of this came true, I still wouldn't be too actually afraid of that. It's more like my thought experiments going horrific in my own head.
Oh no, I know. I mean, look at who you're talking to. I've had OCD as well, and I know exactly where you're going with that shit. I mean, I was literally talking about it earlier today with Halion before stream, where I was like, I don't know if people are just going to watch me sit and try to struggle with perfectionism when it comes to spacesuits. And he's like, don't worry about it, man.
Yeah,
Like, I get incredibly self-conscious with being a perfectionist about shit, and just if people enjoy streams, you know?
Well, there's 39 people who seem to think that you're worth the time, so.
And I absolutely appreciate that. Do not get me wrong. I'm just speaking from, like, you know, we all struggle with our own self-consciousness and self-criticism about stuff, and you know,
those of you in chat, why are you here? No.
thank you.
You know,
Star. You're helping me so much with my feelings.
I'm helping.
After seeing so much of what's happened to like stories, you know, like recently, like I often wonder how I would handle the passing of the torch of my like worlds or IP when I'm gone. Like,
I've definitely
who
wondered
has
that quite a lot.
Yeah, because I'd almost be like, please don't sell this to some corporation or something. And I know that sounds
honestly,
kind of...
I would just make it so that upon my death it would become public domain, because that way you cannot make, you cannot make it.
So I don't know the exact laws, and obviously ask a lawyer. That's difficult. You have to declare it public domain prior to your death. A lot of times people will argue against that if you try to put it in a will.
Yeah, I'm with you, Andy. Like, the last thing I would want is for what I do to be kind of, for lack of a better word, tainted by the actions of whoever would acquire said IP later on.
Well, I think it's also like, hey, this thing could generate money for my family while I'm away, like
there's that as well.
Also, let it be known that Rimward says, Crispy, you're a good man. Please know that you're awesome. Damn it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And Silicon Soul offers you a hug.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
But sometimes I'm also like, no, them kids can earn their own damn money. Get out and get a job, you bum.
I mean...
Yep. It is 4:30 then, gentlemen, or 6:30.
Yes, it is, unfortunately. I did not get to finish this drawings like I thought I would, but you know what? That's probably fair because I wanted to take my time on it, so...
Well, and given the rough start of the stream.
And, there's definitely that lagging elephant in the room, but I hope that people enjoyed stream today, and...
We weren't supposed to talk about that! No! He knows we know about him now! He's moving!
Don't worry,
ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, thank you for joining us today. We all hope
y'all be
you have
safe,
a good
y'all be
rest
good
of
to
your
each
week.
other. Don't explode.
Be most excellent.